Tom, you look very smart today. I like your glasses. Welcome back, my friends, to the show that never ends. We're so glad you could attend. Come inside, come inside. It's an old song. Welcome back to Talkville. Welling, good to see you, buddy. Nice glasses. You look sharp today.
I'm trying to mix it up a little bit. Yeah, I mean, it never is what it was. You know,
that's what we were talking about right before. Out of context. Ryan.
Howdy.
Good to see you.
What's up?
Nice flower on your shirt.
Ryan.
Flower on my shirt?
Are you my flower child?
I am. I'm also supporting the band Heim. I love the band Heim. That's what this is.
Is that short for Hyman?
Nope. Nope.
No? Okay. Well,
That's just their last name.
I also support Hyman. He was a nice guy. He was a rabbi, Hyman.
That is a last name as well.
Yeah, Hyman. You could be a Hyman.
Someone went to my high school whose last name was actually
Heim is an all-girls band. Oh,
It is.
3 sisters, I believe, right?
It is indeed.
I like that you're listening to an all-girls band.
They're
very
awesome.
popular.
Good for you.
You would like them, but you wouldn't like.
You don't think I'd like them?
No.
I mean, I'm going to see Culture Club, I think, this weekend. I'm going to see America this weekend, too. Remember America, Tom?
I see America every day.
What was their song?
No, you're talking about America. I'm talking America, Horse with No Name, Sister Golden Hair. Will I try to make it Sunday?
But I got so
Horse with No Name. That was Neil.
depressed.
Huh?
That was Neil.
No.
Horse with No Name.
No, that's America.
So I set my sights on Monday.
Really?
And got
I
myself
think he might have
undressed.
redid it. But yes. Anyway, look, guys, we're doing this podcast, and the reason we're doing it is we love it, and you love it, and you're here. And the reason we're also doing it is because you support the podcast so much, and we thank you. And those patrons who go to patreon.com/talkville and give a little something back to the show so we can keep going and pay fine folks like Ryan and old Bryce. We appreciate it, man. So keep it going, keep the love going, and thank you. Patreon.com/talkville. There's lots of cool stuff going on with that. We give shout outs to everybody at the end of every episode. Our socials are at Talkville Podcast on all socials. Although I think Bryce kind of goes back and forth on that because there's at Talkville Pod on Twitter or X or whatever the hell they call it. But regardless, you'll find us. Go to YouTube. In my Instagram at the Michael Rosenbaum, there's the Instagram, my link tree. And you'll see all the things we're doing, our cons. We're going to Rhode Island, DC, Minneapolis. Tom's going to be in, well, this will be already aired by then. So, but we do a lot of cons. I'm on the Cameo. You can get Zooms at talkvillepodcast.com. Tons of great merch. People are digging the merch. And also the Inside of You online store. Tons of great merch. Like, look at this. Inside of You little. I got to send you one of these, Tom. Would you wear it? What do you mean? It's dope.
Of course I'd wear it.
Look at this.
Of course I'd wear it.
I'm on a merch frenzy here. Look, the new Sunspin.
Do you have that sweatshirt in a medium?
The new Sunspin tumblers are out on sunspin.com. Support the band. And we're doing a show on the 16th of September, 5 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Sunspin.com. Join us. Zooms, prizes. I dropped my phone. Doesn't matter. Anyway, if you didn't get a chance to call in, leave a message, you could do that. 213-JET-CUTE. It's all there. All the information's in the show description. But we need your love. And we've got a fun episode today. And we do 2 episodes at a time sometimes. So we have mixed feelings about things, I'm sure. Let's just do this. Without further ado, let's get into Season 3, Episode 12. This is Hereafter. Hereafter aired February 4th, 2004. Director was 2 directors, but somebody must have gotten sick or had diarrhea that day. Greg Beeman and James Marshall, old Jim Marshall. And the writers were Mark Verheiden and Drew Z. Greenberg. Guest stars Ian Somerhalder as Adam Knight. Got to see him shirtless, I think, in this episode, don't we?
Yeah.
He's very oiled up, tuned and lubed. Went to Jiffy Lube for this episode.
Yeah, I think he had a nightmare and he woke up like someone hit him with a fire hose.
He woke up after,
I've woken up sweaty from nightmares, and it ain't that.
Yeah, I don't look that hot when I wake up from a nightmare. I look like a nightmare. Camille Mitchell as Nancy Adams, Greg Keane as Joseph Altman. Synopsis: Smallville sees dead people. What was that movie?
Wait a minute. Which one of the Ashmores was in the beginning, though?
I thought it was Ashmore too. I thought it was Aaron Ashmore, and it wasn't. That was Joseph Cross. Jordan did a great job. Smallville sees dead people. As Clark learns about the new kid in school's premonitions, he must fight to save lives by changing destiny. Lex becomes suspicious of Lana's new boy toy after learning about his squeaky clean past and questionable school activities. Okay, we're going to get into this one. There was stuff I liked. There was stuff I liked, and we'll get into that. I certainly didn't remember one thing about this episode. Not one moment. Did you remember anything, Tom?
I felt that way through like 90% of it. And then all of a sudden there was a couple little things, but not a lot. Sorry to spoiler alert, not like a huge story. In fact, I didn't even catch that we had two directors until you said it. And I can't remember why that would have happened.
I think I want to say Greg Beeman had something. He got sick and he got strep throat or something. I would bet that because Greg would not, he would tough anything out, but he was probably sick.
I mean, something happened because Greg and Marshall are both like some of obviously our best directors. And the fact that they would share one episode means something happened that wasn't planned. They would never plan to share an episode. They don't need to.
You know what happened? I bet Beeman couldn't be there for second unit, and Marshall directed both days of second unit, so he got director credit as well. I'm guessing. And there were a lot of scenes, so maybe that happened.
Maybe this is the beginning of setting Marshall up to take over show running the show. That could be smart. Beeman would do something like that.
Yeah. This episode opens with a nice jog through the pine tree-filled forest of Smallville. I love how everybody's wearing the same jogging outfits.
Well, they're on the cross-country team.
So now Lana's on the cross-country team.
I know.
And Pete's on the cross-country team.
I know. They're not cultists running to a bowl of punch. They're a team.
Yeah, but you didn't get that it was a cross-country team?
Yeah, I got it.
But
it
also,
might be
I
gym
agree.
class, but it's probably cross-country.
Lana's overcommitting here.
The funny thing is, I totally bought Lana being on the team, but when they showed Pete, I was like, yeah, right. I was just like, yeah, right.
Yeah,
Pete
like,
wouldn't.
come on.
No, Pete's not doing that.
And they're playing to the tune of 5 for Fighting. What song was it?
When you've only got 100 years to live.
16 years under the wheel. He does that.
Dude, I saw them.
Yeah.
I saw them on TV a couple weeks ago. They were the entertainment at a golf tournament. And they aired it on the Golf Channel. Dude, they still nail that song. Like that guy still can hit all that.
That's cool.
Kind of like
cool
that.
When you only got it was that kind of era where you got Dave Matthews going, she wakes up in the morning, 5 for fighting.
Everyone was Irish.
Everybody was Irish to jump back in. The Smallville High cross-country team gets passed by new classmate Jordan Cross. As they return to the track, Lana talks to the new kid. They touch hands over the water cooler, and he suddenly has a vision of Lana as an old lady, peacefully dying. He frantically runs away, but the coach pats him on the shoulder. It sends him into another vision of the coach being decked by an oncoming car. Jordan can seemingly see how people are going to die. If you had that gift, what would you do with it? Every time someone touches you, go, listen, you're going to get hit by a bus. Stay away from buses. That's all I got. See you, buddy. You're going to die of this. Just stop smoking.
That kid is rightfully stressed out all the time. Like, could you imagine? Knowing
man, that's a burden, man.
Yeah,
that's like a medium.
It's kind of, but it's kind of like you when you date. You know, you're kind of like, this isn't something's gonna happen.
Your toes are webbed. I don't know. No, I don't know. Clark tries to greet Jordan with the friendly handshake, but Jordan shrugs it off. As he leaves to go home with his dad, Jordan shares that he started having the visions again, and as they talk, we see Coach Altman carrying out the suicidal vision Jordan had. However, instead of being decked by a car, he is saved by Clark.
All I kept thinking about this all added up that Clark saved him and the whole thing. And I just kept thinking, what was that guy driving the car like that for? Like, this is like a drunk 4:30 in the morning guy trying to get home.
Yeah.
To
In front
to
of a
beat his
school, which is
curfew.
also a ticket.
Like it's like that guy was way out of control, and like nobody paid attention to it.
Bryce made a note here. Pretty brutal that the coach was going to do this in front of the entire school. Some mentor he is, huh? And also,
well, his daughter died. He was sad, but still.
Yeah, but also, how did no one else see Clark go in front of the car? The guy was yelling like this, "I've had it," or something, and no one saw Clark zoom in. That's terrible. That bothered the crap out of me. Anyone else?
I thought about that.
Yeah, I'm glad you did.
It would have been nice if maybe Clark separated from like the kid and his father and like went back into school and then looked out the window. So it almost felt like Clark would have come from an angle that nobody was looking at.
Well,
but yeah,
it would have been better if
an hour and a half more of shooting during that day, though.
I'm not going to even get into that. That just pissed me off. Maybe if the coach didn't scream, if he just got in front of the car and then Clark saw him, and then I'd believe it. It was just like, dude, what do you do?
But also, like, he didn't plan it. He was just like, oh, I'm going to take my opportunity to kill myself now. Like, he didn't like just like go home and think about it some more. He's like, now's good.
Yeah, Lana says something to him and he goes, oh, okay. And then goes, I'm going to do it now. I'm going to do it now. Now's the time to do it. I just had cross-country practice, and now's the time.
Yeah.
Right after school when everybody's outside watching me.
I always wanted to do it with the car.
Nobody wants to do that. How many people commit suicide, God forbid, but in front of tons of people? Not many.
Yeah.
Especially a teacher. Get with it, dude.
That was rough.
I just kept thinking also like, I never ran cross country, but what a great coaching job. You get everybody together. You go, all right, here's the deal. For the next hour and a half, you're going to start here. You're going to go that way. And I'll see you when you get back.
Yeah. Hey, I've got nothing.
That's true.
Hey, John, you could run a little faster on that last 40. Thanks, coach. Great. I'm going to go back to tweeting. Later at Smallville Medical, Lana shows up to check on her coach. She finds Clark in the waiting room and talks about how she used to be friends with his late daughter. She seems to be friends with everybody. Remember the girl who died? And like all these friends. Clark, that's another friend who died.
Uh-huh.
Is that another friend of hers who died?
Yeah.
What's with Lana? Lana, start hanging out with people who didn't die.
No, but Clark's always the bad guy, right? Clark's always the one getting people in trouble when you hang out with him.
Yeah.
Well, maybe not.
I'm not hanging out with Lana. Clark goes on. I end up doing it. Clark goes on to say it's hard when you blame yourself for things that happen. Coming a few episodes after Lana's traumatic horse trampling. Before Lana leaves, we see her classmate Megan apologizing to the unconscious coach, feeling regret for what happened to his daughter dying. As they leave, he wakes up. We'll get into it. I'm gonna wait until we get to that moment. But the next day at Smallville High, Jordan's walking through the halls, dodging students left and right to prevent seeing how they tragically die. Unexpectedly, Clark grabs him on the shoulder and he suddenly gets a galactic vision, unlike the death ones he normally has. As Clark talks to Jordan, he explains that he doesn't like being touched, and Jordan says that, and then proceeds to get bumped by 3 different kids in a row. And then he kept going, and they hold him this shot, and I can just hear the director going, I want you every time there's anybody around you, just I could just see that direction, and it was just like, come on, man, just cut away. We don't need to see that. It just got too much. I'm shitting on it, and I there was some good stuff in this, so we'll get to it.
But Clark says something in that scene. He says Smallville is rarely that exciting. What?
Really?
Yeah.
What?
What do you mean?
All this excitement is just normal this is Clark's life. He doesn't know if it's exciting or not. If anything, it's a burden, right? I think that him being bumped by those kids could have been a little bit better if him and Clark were on the move, like walking. It would have kept it a little more or less.
By the way, I didn't think the makeup was good in this episode.
What?
It jumped out at me. And the makeup's always good. I don't know what went on. But how tan is Kristen in the hospital scene? I mean, there's so much makeup on her. And Tom's got too much makeup in The Torch. I mean, I'll go on about this because I got more makeup stuff because it jumped out at me. But the Superman cape moment was cool. Jordan saw the future.
This is the first I've ever heard you talk about
really freaking cool.
Yeah. That's Ryan's favorite scene.
This show is sponsored by Betterhelp. We love our fellas, our friends at Betterhelp. They're doing wonders. Ryan uses Betterhelp. Many of my friends. It's just something that's helping a lot of people around here. And I think therapy is the best thing in the world, even if you don't think you have things to talk about. Clearing your mind, understanding why you're thinking the way you're thinking, it really helps to talk to someone. And look, do you ever feel like your brain is getting in the way of living your best life? Like you know what you should do or what's good for you, but you just can't seem to do it. Therapy helps you figure out what's holding you back so your brain can work for you instead of against you.
Therapy is a great way to learn positive coping skills and how to set boundaries. It empowers you to be the best version of yourself. And it's way more convenient with Betterhelp.
It's entirely online and designed to be convenient, flexible, and suited to your schedule. Just fill out a brief questionnaire. It's so easy to do. You'll get matched with a licensed therapist. Switch therapist at any time, no additional charge. And that's not abnormal to want to get comfortable with a certain therapist. So don't think that's weird. BetterHelp is truly the best way to make your brain your friend. Give it a try. Visit betterhelp.com/talkville today to get 10% off your first month. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/talkville. Our next partner is AG1, the daily foundational nutrition supplement that supports whole body health. I drink it literally every day, Tom. I know you do.
I had mine this morning.
You know, we talked about this. It sounds silly, and I know you think this is an ad, but this is something we use. I don't like taking tons of vitamins and pills every day, and I know none of you guys like this. This is science-driven formulation of vitamins, probiotics, and whole food source nutrients that you just put a little powder in a glass of water, stir it, and you're done. That's it. You could drink it really anytime you want. And the results for me have been outstanding. I have more energy, more clarity. AG1 has really done it. They have 75 vitamins and minerals, and it's really incredible.
AG1 is raising the standard for quality in the supplement category. AG1 helps you build your health. Foundation first.
Why take a bunch of different things when you can just add one scoop of something in water once a day? It's AG1, guys, was designed with ease in mind so you can live healthier and better without having to complicate your routine. And this becomes a routine, and it's simple. You do it every day. You start with that, and all of a sudden, things start to happen.
My AG1 is delivered to me every month, so it's been super easy to make it a daily habit.
Yeah, we travel a lot to cons and things, so we also get the single-serving AG1 travel pack, so we never have to run out, and we don't have to pack up a lot of stuff. It's just these little simple travel packs, and it's got exactly what you need. Every scoop is packed with 75 vitamins, minerals, probiotics, and whole food source ingredients of high quality that give us major benefits like gut and mood support, boosted energy, and even healthier looking skin, hairs, and nails. If you want to take ownership of your health, try AG1 and get a free 1-year supply of vitamin D and 5 free AG1 travel packs with your first purchase. Go to drinkag1.com/talkville. That's drinkag1.com/talkville. Check it out. That night, as Lana is closing up the Talon, she hears something in the upstairs loft. She goes to investigate and finds Adam having intense sweat-drenched night terrors. She tries to figure out what happened after getting donkey kicked in the gut, but Adam doesn't want to talk about it.
The only thing that's not wet is his hair. Did you notice that?
Well, that's what happens when you're
hot. His body
hot.
is completely drenched, but his hair is like fine. That's Smallville stuff right there.
That's the directors. I mean, you remember Beeman. Beeman was just as wanting every girl to be hot, just as he wanted every guy to be hot. He wanted everybody to be as hot as they could be, just looking sweet. And it was a pressure. It was a pressure, and I assume it was a pressure on you to always keep a good body, to be working out. I mean, I know you got frustrated, and there were some seasons or a season where you came back and you had gained weight, and they're like, dude. But like, that's a lot of. You're not only on set every day, all day, learning lines, doing it, working 15 hours a day, but now you got to look good. How do you look good that many hours a day?
I'll be honest with you.
If you say it was natural, I'll kill you.
No, what I'm going to say is I, in talking with Natalie and hair, makeup, and wardrobe, I trusted that those guys would make adjustments. I couldn't be worried about it. You know what I mean? Like, I just couldn't. I never checked my makeup.
Good.
I never changed my hair. I was like, listen, you guys know how to do this. I don't know how to do this. I don't care about my shirt. every once in a while I'd say something to Steve, whatever. He'd go, ugh.
I was concerned about my makeup, not on my face, but on my head, because they put 3 layers of makeup on my head so you didn't see a hairline. And there was just some moments where I could see makeup and it takes you out of the scene. So I wanted to make sure that it looked good and the lighting was good, because I didn't want people to not look at my performance and instead look at my makeup.
Yeah.
The next day at Smallville High, Chloe and Pete rush to share the Adam gossip with Clark. However, Clark wants to stay an Adam-free zone and not pry into Lana's life. Instead, he wants to pry into Jordan's, the new kid's life. He believes Jordan is having premonitions. 12 minutes into the episode, we have a Lex sighting as Lana walks into the office to discuss the incident at the Talon. Apparently, Adam's string of bad dreams are starting to land on Lex's radar. Lana brushes it off because of the help that Adam has been.
How this conversation really even starts is so funny. Like, just the fact that Lana's in there talking about her tenant's, wet dream that he had. Like, why are you talking about?
Did he say wet dream?
He did.
Jesus. Back in Smallville High, Chloe walks into the dark classroom and finds Adam injecting something into his arm, because that's where you do it, right? At school and But I'll buy into it. It was a dark room. It was like he just needed to do it. I'm not going to.
Well, a lot of classrooms are empty.
Yeah.
Better than the bathroom. The bathroom's always occupied.
True.
At a school?
Yeah. True.
I buy it.
She uncovers from her mega real-world moment and goes to talk with Clark about his investigation of Jordan. Apparently, he has been having premonitions since the age of 6, and he was born on the day of the meteor shower. I didn't catch that part. That he's born.
Me neither. That's interesting.
That's all right. I kind of dig that. Outside the torch, Clark and Chloe hear a commotion as Jordan is frantically trying to convince Megan to walk home with him. She is understandably freaked out and resistant to the kids' advances. Jordan tells Clark that she's going to die and then runs away. Clark catches up and gets Jordan to admit his premonitions and share what's been going on. And let me tell you, I really like that scene. It was very creepy. He's like, no, you don't understand. And he's screaming. I thought the acting was great. I thought when you go, Jordan, what are you doing? What happened? The whole thing, everyone was really good. She was crying. It was weird. It just felt like almost out of a movie, like a Carrie, Yeah, what I really liked what he did is he was really scared. He could have easily played this character as like, this has been happening to me since I was a kid. It's frustrating. It's boring. I don't like it. I just don't like everybody. But he was scared about the whole thing. And I think you brought this up earlier. Like, what if you had this ability? I think the most frustrating part is trying to tell somebody this information. No one wants to deal with a problem before it's a problem. No one.
Especially their death.
I mean, everyone has a premonition because anyone really has these, that ability, and it's not even a gift. It's like looking at someone who's drinking themselves to death and smoking. You're like, you're going to die. You're obese and you don't eat well and you don't exercise.
I don't mean to laugh.
You're probably going to die. There's certain things, but like this, to have that sort of innate gift where you could, if somebody told you want to know the date you're going to die or you want to know how you're going to die, would you want to know?
Yeah.
But what if you found out it was something like you got hit by a car? For the rest of your life, no matter what, even if you looked out, it was going to happen.
Well, no, not till that day. You would know the day.
No, but what if you didn't know the day?
I'm good till then.
Oh, you knew how, but you didn't know when.
No, you knew how, but you didn't know when.
Ugh.
That's dreadful. I wouldn't want to know that.
I would rather know when than how.
If somebody says you were going to die on December 2nd, 2060, would you want to know that? I would live my life pretty outrageous.
I would wait till 2059 to
pretty much the same.
These are conversations you could have for forever. The boys walk home and Jordan tells Clark that his vision was different. It was like he lived forever. On their walk home, I like that. They run into Sheriff Adams, whose makeup is also terrible, and who lets them know they found Megan's car abandoned on the highway with noticeable signs of struggle. The sheriff tries connecting her disappearance to Jordan's struggle. Now, again, with the makeup thing, the makeup's always amazing on this show. For some reason, I think it might have been the lighting was different. I think it was the lighting because sometimes the makeup's great in this episode and sometimes it's really bad. Did you guys not notice it?
No, I didn't.
Even on the sheriff, on her face? It was really harsh, and you could see her acne, and like, give her like a balance or like some kind of deflection on that. Jeez.
I will,
please.
since you noticed it, and I'm just watching the scene it looks like it could have been a little better.
Thank you. Yeah. Thank you for validating. Later that day, Chloe heads over to the town looking for Adam. Instead, she finds Lana and decides to tell her about him shooting up. Back at Luthor Mansion, Lex walks in his office, finds Adam tearing it up on the piano. Lex tells him that he's concerned with his behavior and shares his sealed school records. He goes on to share his suspicions for his all-too-good past and threatens to keep digging.
See, I like this scene because this is the first time I felt like I really was curious about the character. Like, I was like, oh, you can tell, you can make people say things. It actually made me want to learn more this time than all the previous scenes.
He can make people say things?
Well, apparently all his teachers said the same things, almost like someone told him to say that. That's what Lex says to him.
So I think he can threaten them.
Well, yeah, when Lex checked in on me, they all said he's a fine pupil and a joy to teach. Word for word, they all said
the same thing.
Right. Huh. And I was like, ooh, what's this guy now?
After Adam leaves Luthor Mansion, he heads to Smallville High to meet Lana. She asks him if he's a diabetic, but instead of explaining shooting up in the middle of the school, he gaslights her and leaves. As he does, he bumps into Jordan, giving him another vision. Lana finds Jordan and goes to him, giving a different vision of her in a fiery death. Before they could leave, Jordan gets sucker punched and Lana gets chloroformed. Chloe decides to take the investigation of Adam into her own hands and sneaks into his loft. As she snoops around, she finds Lex doing the same thing, mystified by his piano playing skills. By the way, if I was Tom or Clark, I would have been like, see? You're in trouble, and I didn't cause this. It's worse when you go out with other guys. Yeah, it's a lot worse. You don't know it yet, but this guy's dead. Later that night, Jonathan catches up with his son in the barn and relates to Jordan's father's attempt to shelter his son. He tells Clark that Jordan will eventually make his way back home when he is ready. And as Jonathan leaves, Jordan rushes in and tells Clark that Lana has been kidnapped. They begin to put the pieces together that both Megan and Lana could have been kidnapped by Coach Altman, and that Clark saving the coach created sort of a butterfly effect scenario that changed other people's deaths.
Now, did you for at least 1 second during the scene want Clark to be like, even if that's true, Lana really asked me to stay away from her. I don't think I should get involved.
No.
She really doesn't want me to.
Yeah.
I can't.
I don't want to get burned again. No pun intended, Jordan. We then cut to a scene where Mr. Altman has Megan and Lana tied up, dousing the room with gasoline and ready to make them pay for killing his daughter. He tosses a lighter, setting the room ablaze, and then gets on his knees, ready to go down with him. All right, this absolutely took me out of the whole episode. Why are you killing these two girls? Because they apologized to you? Because they might have had something to do with your daughter's death many years ago and the fact that you've suffered? So you're going to kill these two little girls who were friends with your daughter when they really didn't do anything bad? So now you're going to burn them down, and the worst tragic death you could have is burning them alive? You sick F you. I just was like, oh my Lord, this is just like, what are we doing here? My grandfather.
I will say the fire looked good.
Yes.
I thought it looked
My
scary.
grandfather used to say something like when he was watching a movie and something was incredulous, he'd go, what the hell are we doing here? What is this? What are they doing? And that's how I felt. Clark and Jordan show up to the house as it's burning to the ground. Clark goes to save Lana. Jordan goes to save Megan. Jordan gets stopped by the coach as Clark rushes both girls outside. I thought Jordan was going to die. I'm glad he didn't.
I thought Lana was going to say, Clark, what did I tell you? Stay away from me.
I told you, let me burn. Clark goes back to save Jordan before the house explodes. He picks him up, slings him over the shoulder, and runs out before a massive explosion. What I liked about this is that it seemed different. The explosion lingered for a while, and it kind of just they let it rest. It was interesting.
I think this is the house where when we went and blocked this whole scene, I remember we walked into a storm. You know, you walk down from the outside, you walk into the cellar in some of these old homes. And I remember walking in and we're blocking the scene and we're trying to figure out where it is. And I look over and on the wall, I'm like, boy, that looks like dynamite, like all stacked up everywhere. And they're like, oh, it is, but it's not hooked up yet. And I was like, what? The whole place was rigged. I'm pretty sure this is the house that Smallville actually blew up with actual dynamite. And I think that's why the explosion was less, it had a practical element to it, which I think they added some flames. But I think you're right. The way it explodes, I think we blew that house up for real.
Yeah, something seemed different. It seemed more intense. Talkville is brought to you by Policy Genius. I don't know if anything is more important than life insurance. People die, and a lot of times it's very, very difficult. Not a lot of times, all the time. And the last thing you want your family to deal with is, not being taken care of, not having the finances to pay for your funeral or things like that. Not to get a little macabre, but this is life, guys. And it's very important. Tom, you have a family. You know how important this is, that if something, God forbid, happened to you, Policy Genius is there for you.
Yeah, I agree. It's very important to not be a burden. I think it would be hard enough without having everything lined up in preparation.
Yeah, even if you already have a life insurance policy through work, it may not offer enough protection for your family's needs, and it may not follow you if you leave your job. With Policy Genius, you can find life insurance policies that start at just $292 per year for $1 million of coverage. Some options offer same-day approval and avoid unnecessary medical exams.
Policy Genius knows how valuable your time is. Their technology makes it easy to compare life insurance quotes from America's top insurers. Just a few clicks to find your lowest price.
Policy Genius has licensed award-winning agents who can help you find the best fit for your needs. They work for you, not the insurance companies. Policy Genius is for parents, caregivers, and anyone else who has people who depend on them. They simplify the process of getting life insurance so you can protect the people that you love. No wonder they have thousands of 5-star reviews on Google and Trustpilot.
Your loved ones deserve a financial safety net. You deserve a smarter way to find and buy it.
Head to policygenius.com or click the link in the description to get your free life insurance quotes and see how much you could save. That's policygenius.com. As the group recovers outside, Jordan notices that he no longer has death visions as he touches people. The next day at Luthor Mansion, Lex invites Lana to talk about her new boy toy after being kidnapped and almost murdered. This is normal for her, though, so she has no issue learning about Adam's clinical trial that he's currently a test subject in. Clark goes to visit Jordan at home and learns that he has had a vision of his late mother before he almost died. Lana shows up to drop off some assignments, and Clark tries unsuccessfully to chit-chat with her. He then leaves, and Jordan goes on to talk with Lana about the vision he had about Adam. He tells her Adam has already died. That night, back at the farm, Martha's finishing baking cookies as Clark talks to her about putting many people's lives in jeopardy by saving one. He questions whether or not he can change destiny. Now, look, I always love Annette O'Toole. She's amazing. But she kept turning her head looking at you while you're talking, like so much where I was like, no, she was going to get something from the cabinet. No one, real person would turn around. They'd go get it, go, yeah, well, Clark, and then they would turn. But she kept like,
oh, I didn't notice that.
Huh? It was like, what are you doing? Maybe the director was like, I need you to keep looking at him. I need you to, I don't know, but it was odd. It wasn't noticeable to you guys, but it was odd.
I'm looking at it now. I think you're right. I think what may have happened is she was told that they were not going to cover her. Side. And so they probably asked her to cheat everything out.
You're right. That's exactly what they did. We're not shooting you from the front, so we need you to do this.
Yeah, I'm sure, because she knows.
Clark goes to take some cookies out to his father in the barn and finds Jonathan struggling on the floor. This was an absolute shock. He rushes to his side. Jonathan screams out, "Not yet," and tells Clark that he loves him before going unconscious. This touched me. This gave me goosebumps. I didn't remember this. I didn't remember when it was going to happen. I didn't see this episode. But I thought it was so beautifully played. The only thing that bothered me, can you guess, Ryan? In that scene.
The cookies?
The slow motion cookie drop?
No, that Clark kept going, Mom, come out here. Pick your dad up and super speed to the hospital immediately.
Oh.
That's what I was thinking. Like, don't wait for your mom to come out and go, oh, we'll call an ambulance. Clark, take him to the God-blessed hospital. What are you doing? You moron. You've got super speed. X-ray his heart. What's going on in there? Use your powers for the love of Jesus.
Would you say it like that?
I would have said it like this. Good Lord, son. Would you head to the hospital? Any things you remember from shooting the episode, working with Joseph Cross?
No, I mean, no. And it's unfortunate. I liked watching us work together, but I don't necessarily recall being there. Sounds horrible, but
yeah.
He's working a lot still.
He is. Good for him.
It's like 3/4 of the way through the season, so everybody's probably really tired doing this episode.
He has worked with Spielberg, Fincher, and PTA.
You know what? He's so good. I don't doubt it.
Yeah.
I don't doubt it. That's awesome. The name Jordan
Guess
Cross.
who hasn't worked with all those people?
Me.
Us.
What names did you say? Spielberg,
Fincher, and Paul Thomas Anderson.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Interesting things of note. The name Jordan Cross is a play on the metaphor crossing Jordan, the classic illusion of moving from this life to the hereafter. I never would have thought that as a writer.
That's what that TV show is about.
Writers know. They know a bunch of smart stuff. And I don't know that stuff, even though I write. When Jordan bumps into Clark, we see a quick image of the classic Superman S symbol on a red cape, the same scene that appears on Lois and Clark, The New Adventures of Superman, opening while the camera flies through space. Oh, that's disappointing.
Oh. They probably bought that. They probably just like, oh, you guys already made that? Can we just...
That sucks. I thought it was original. I thought they shot that.
The cape thing?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah, they stole it from Lois and Clark's. Lex says that he never had the patience to play piano. But in fact, Lex is quite an accomplished piano player, as shown in Spell and Lucy. Yeah, I thought that too. I could play the hell out of Rachmaninoff. I could slam down some Beethoven and some Mozart and Chopin and Tchaikovsky if I have to. Chloe says she is glad to play Woodward to Clark's Bernstein, a reference to of course, two Washington Post journalists whose tenacious investigation uncovered the Watergate scandal in '72. That's pretty easy to know. And now
those are the Watergate guys.
Yep, they're the guys who broke the case. Bernstein,
Dustin Hoffman and Robert Redford. You mean?
Oh yeah. And now it's time for the hotline. We're going to go to the hotline,
ding, ding,
213 Jet Cute. What's that, Tommy?
It's the ding, ding, ding hotline.
Hotline. Here's patron privilege. We love you. Patreon.com/talkville. Patron privilege. This is Michael P. Let's see what Michael P's got to say to us this day.
Hey, everybody. It's Michael Piccioni from Texas. The episode Hereafter, the ending, that cliffhanger. Tom, you know exactly what I'm talking about. I wanted to pick your brain on this one. What was it like mentally getting ready for a scene like this and pulling it off as well as you did? Thanks, man.
This is going to sound corny, but you just have to play the scene. You have to go into the scene not knowing what the end is. I mean, Clark finds him, doesn't know what's happening, isn't even smart enough, as Rosenbaum said, to just take his dad to the hospital or something. I mean, he's just... So the trick is to embrace that your character doesn't know what's going to happen next. And that creates a lot of the emotionality and confusion.
By the way, don't you think that would have been cool? As he looks at his dad, his dad passes out, and then you close up on his face, and then you cut to a wide shot, he picks him up, and it goes black. You know what I mean? It's like, wow, that's cool. Yeah. That would have been cool. I would have definitely thought about that. Vera, what are we talking about, Vera? What you talking about, Willis? All right, here's Vera. Oh, she has a Smallville poster behind her. Hi, Vera.
Hey, guys. Vera here from Minnesota. For the episode Hereafter, if you could meet someone with Jordan's abilities, would you want to know the circumstances of your own death?
We talked about that. That's a dicey subject. I think everybody would like to, if somebody could say you're going to die at 94 in your sleep, I'd be like, oh my God, great. Thank you. But anything else is like, you're going to die of you're going to get run over by a bus and you're going to take 4 hours to die. I don't want to know that. You know what I would do is I'd be an agoraphobic, and then I would just stay in my house, and then all of a sudden a bus would smash through my house at some point, knowing my luck. Here's Ken the Limerick guy.
Oh my gosh, during movie night.
During movie night.
Hi, guys. It's Ken, the Limerick guy from Williamsburg, Virginia. In Hereafter, Tom, I'm wondering about the safety precautions on a show like on the explosion and fire at the house. How close did the actors or stunt doubles actually get to the fire? And was any of it CG or with miniatures, or was it all full-size and practical? Thanks. Bye.
I don't remember exactly, but if this is the house that I think it is, there's these things called flame bars, and usually you can't see the bar itself, but they shoot like propane through it, and it's like a gas grill, and they can raise the flames anywhere from like 3 inches to even like 3.5 feet, and they get super hot. And so I'm sure they staged a couple of those. I'm sure in post they put some extra fire, but I can tell you that when that house actually exploded, I was nowhere near there. Like, it looks like Clark is running out and it explodes. I'm sure I was 3 miles away. Like, I was like, you guys have blown up a house? I'm going to go.
See ya.
Yeah.
Jen T. What up, Jen T? Gentle Jen T.
Hi guys, Jen T from Brunswick, Maine here. This is more of a comment than a question. In the scene where Lex walks in on Adam playing the piano, Adam is playing Rhapsody on a theme of Paganini, which is featured as the primary theme in the movie Somewhere in Time with Christopher Reeve. Not sure if it was deliberate or not, but I thought it was really kind of cool to have that Superman connection. Thanks guys.
That was
Love
deliberate.
the podcast.
Great question. I bet that was deliberate. And also, trivia question: who directed the wonderful movie with Christopher Reeve, Somewhere in Time?
Jeannot.
Correct. Jeannot Schwartz, who directed a lot of Smallville episodes. He also directed Jaws 2. But I love
Lovely
that guy.
man.
Somewhere in Time, if you haven't seen it, is a wonderful movie. It's heartbreaking. Michelle, let's see what we got here.
They were both on Smallville. She was too.
Yeah.
She played Jensen's mom.
Hey guys, love
Probably
the
'cause it was you.
podcast. This is Michelle from Prince Albert, Saskatchewan. I kind of was thinking it was funny that the sheriff would question Jordan about Megan's whereabouts, and then Clark's like, "Oh, I was there, Sheriff. It was no big deal." And then Clark and Jordan literally leave the school, walk back to Jordan's house together, but Sheriff is like, I need to ask you some questions. Well, does she think maybe he had a plan to hurt Megan this whole time? Because, like, obviously he didn't do it since they left school because he walked home with Clark. Anyways, just wondering. Thanks. Bye.
Boy, I wish you were in the writing room on that one. Makes sense, right? No?
I wish I could explain it away. I guess
You
what
gotta
they should
let
have done
things
is
go.
had... You know what they could have done maybe is had the sheriff juggling 2 cases at the same time. You know, she's like, she gets another call.
I don't have time for
and
this right now, Clark.
Yeah, maybe.
But if I did, I'd tell the makeup artist to jump in here and give me better makeup and better lighting. Because right now, I don't want to be here. You better watch it, Clark. I'm on you. I'm on you. I'm on you.
Ammonia?
I'm on you. I'm on you. This is for...
Ammonia. Alcohol.
I'm on
Ammonia.
you. Did you get any on you?
This is Natalie from Michigan. I have a question in regards to season 3, episode 12. At the end of the episode, we see Clark and Jonathan on the ground, and me watching this episode when I was younger, knowing what happened in the actual Superman comics, I was always on edge when I saw Jonathan either what looked like could be dying or dying, always wondering when it was going to happen. I was curious if the cast and you guys and John Schneider knew this part about Superman, and if you guys kind of read the scripts like this, like, oh, when is it going to happen? Were you guys kind of on edge when you saw these kind of things, wondering when it was going to happen? All right, thanks, guys.
I wasn't.
That's what she said?
Yeah, pretty much.
After all that, that's what
she
she
could have
said?
said, were you guys aware of what he was going to die, or pretty much the lore of Jonathan Kent dying? Were you guys aware of all these things, like the comic books? Did you know about that?
No.
I didn't either.
No, I didn't know. I knew that.
Good question.
I know that John Schneider really didn't want to die. Like, he didn't want his character.
No,
like he didn't want his character to die. He really
he was
didn't.
really upset about it.
Yeah. He wanted to
Kaylee.
stick around.
Yeah, of course. Who wants to die? Obviously, the coach.
Hi, this is
The
Kaylee
coach.
from Utah. In this episode, Jonathan has his first heart attack, and we learn it's because his human heart can't handle Clark's powers. I was just wondering why you guys think Jonathan didn't just go to Metropolis and stop Clark with red kryptonite like he did in season 2, episode 4, Red. Thanks so much, guys. Really kind of cool.
What?
Why did Jonathan make a deal with Jarrell? Wait, was this? Yeah.
Just save Clark.
Instead of just trying to stop Clark like he did in Red when he smashes the ring with a hammer. I don't know. Ryan?
No, there's got to be a difference
Ryan,
somehow.
jump in. Jesus, what are you doing over there?
I am listening.
Kaylee,
He's looking for
interesting
tickets.
question. I don't know how to answer.
He's looking for Haim tickets.
Connor? Maybe we could answer one of your questions, Connor. Keep calling, Kaylee. Keep calling us. We'll figure it out.
Hi, this is Connor calling from California, and I'm calling about season 3, episode 12, with the fun but random reference for cross country. And it seems like Smallville has a lot of unfortunate events with their coaches and coaching staff. But I was just curious to see for the three of y'all if you have any good coaching experience from your time growing up. Thank you. Enjoy the show.
I had a coach, Roger Sergisgetter, my tennis coach. And, I just remember I got really upset because I was playing doubles, varsity doubles. And if you challenged the guy that was ahead of you, which was the number 3 singles, because I wanted to play singles, if you beat them 2 weeks in a row, you would get their position. You beat them twice in a row, you get the. And I remember I beat the guy, and then he says, "No, you're a better doubles player," and he just didn't allow me his own rule. And I remember that was my last year.
What a jerk!
And I went to play hockey. But you know what? He was a sweet man. He was a good coach, and that was just maybe I was a better doubles player. Maybe I don't know, but I remember being really upset about it. But he sent me a book like years ago. I had no way of getting in touch with him, but he sent me this book of like all the when Michael Rosenbaum, Andy Biviano win sectionals for varsity tennis, and these little articles and pictures and stuff. And it was really nice of him. And so if you're listening to season 3 episode whatever of Talkville,
well, whatever.
Thank you, Roger. But how dare you not let me play singles? All right, this is the last question. This is Annie before we get to our international folks. Annie. Her name was Anne, and I'll be damned if I recall.
Hey, guys. This is Annie from Ocala. This episode deals with a lot of questions about predestination and free will. So what do you guys personally think of these questions? Do you think that our lives are governed by destiny, free will, or a combination of the two? Thanks, guys. Have a good one.
Oh, damn.
That's deep.
Whoa.
What?
I mean, do you think that our lives, it's destiny, free will? Like, in other words, like, I think it's just happenstance. I think things just happen, and then there's no way of controlling them. Like, my cousin, he was perfectly healthy, played hockey, lawyer, had his kids, great wife, great. Everything was going great for him. And then pancreatic cancer, died in 3 months. Just like that out of nowhere. So is that, I mean, people could say that was his, that was supposed to happen for a reason. That was, I don't know.
Cosmically.
I just don't know the answer to that. But
jeez.
But does everything happen for a reason, or do we find reasons for things that happen?
I'd like to think that
nobody
things
knows.
happen for a reason. That I'd like to think that, but
But then, what about the awful things and the human atrocities?
Well, from that, I think from human atrocity, we either figure it out and come together or end up destroying ourselves. Like, I'm not going to, but like World War II and the world going after each other and killing each other. And, maybe it's supposed to work itself out, and it's almost like a chance that it all didn't end badly, where the whole universe or the whole planet was, explodes. What I'm trying to say is that I'm not saying there's a reason for everything, but like, I think you learn a lot from events, from things, and you try not to let things repeat themselves. And obviously death that's finality. But, do you learn from that? Do you get stronger? Do you say, do you try to help people with cancer because your brother died of cancer? Do you then become some kind of spokesman that helps so many more lives out there? I think it's what you do with your life, but I don't know. Is there a reason for it? I mean, I hate to say that because that's not, my dad, I lost my half sister at 15 years old, 16 years old, is like, what can you say? Can you tell somebody that we're getting too deep? I'm moving on.
I mean,
International folks, Pete, given that the next couple of episodes mirror popular films at the same time, would you guys joke about that during filming or make mention of it at all?
Is this because of the butterfly effect?
I think there's a little
movie?
bit of the next episode with all the car racing and the Fast and Furious. I think that comes to mind.
Is this not the butterfly effect?
I guess maybe it is.
Yeah, but like I don't think I'm pretty sure when they gave us the script for Smallville, they weren't like, and we're referencing this film if you guys want to check it out. I think this is a theme that comes up over time.
I don't know, Pete. I don't know, Pete. But thanks for chiming in. Rosenbaum ratings. We'll start out with Tom. What do you give this one?
I think it's a John Heater. I know there's a big thing that happens and whatnot, but I just felt like I was just kind of chilling the whole time watching it.
All right.
Half. I'm going to give it half.
I think the performance is really good. The makeup wasn't great.
There are a lot of characters, by the way. A lot of actors in this.
I'm going to go with Ryan. I'm going to give it half a rose.
All right.
Clark, Tom loses again. gives the lowest.
Lose?
Nah, you don't lose. Death and save count. Series 73 dead, 91 saved. Time for Ryan's favorite scene.
Scene 1 is the Cape flash forward. Scene 2, Lex and Adam with the piano. Scene 3, the explosion. So, Cape, piano, explosion.
I'm going to go with Cape. Tom?
Wouldn't it be funny if the sheriff turned up and gave the death and save count up to now in Smallville at one point? Mr. Kent, I just want to let you know there have been 96 deaths.
Let me tell you, this is the worst sheriffing I've ever experienced in my life. When I was in Murfreesboro, I did way better than this. No one died in 4 years. More people have died in the last week, and I have a feeling it has something to do with you, Mr. Kent.
There you go.
All right.
I'm gonna go Cape as well.
Cape
scene.
Cape.
Yeah.
Cape Girardo.
I do agree with what Tom said about that the piano scene. It was I finally kind of care about Adam and like what is actually happening. I think it was probably the way you played against him.
But I didn't care about him when he starts like losing it on Lana and acting like a dick. And
I didn't care for that either.
That's just kind of like, come on, man.
But it was just that one scene between the two of you. I was like, oh, that's kind of interesting.
It was interesting. It's like, he's, I don't know. I didn't feel for him as much as you guys did. That's it for the episode. Stick around next week as we speed through season 3 about episode 13, Velocity. Let's take the discussion.
We get to see a lot of Pete.
Yeah, a lot of Pete Ross. And I'll tell you what, there's some emotions from Pete. Sam does a wonderful job. His acting was stellar. Let us know your thoughts on the episode over on our socials at Talkville Podcast or at Talkville Pod. Show their support for the podcast by joining patreon.com/Talkville. patreon.com/Talkville. When you support the patron, you support the show. We love you. We couldn't do it without you. And if you want more information like merch from the show, talkvillepodcast.com or a hotline number, all that stuff, go to my Instagram at the Michael Rosenbaum Linktree or go to our socials. You'll find it. And
thank you.
Thank you so much. Tommy, Ryan, good times. Remember, folks, always hold on to Smallville. All right, we can't do this without the patrons. You guys know this, right? Seriously, without you guys, we wouldn't be here. Patreon.com/Talkville. Join, get your name shouted out and other perks. And we love you. Patreon.com/Talkville. Here are the names: Nikki G, Leanne P, Raj C, Santiago M, Little Lisa, Thomas the Leaf Blower. Always ask questions. Sophie M, Betsy D, Ray H, Harada, Karen Apple M, Daniel B, Danielle B, 99 more, Leilani N. You met Leilani, didn't we? Brett G, Always Hold On to Smallville, Esteban G, DJ Kento, Garrett W, Kimberly L, Tom N, Jason W, Osama A, Lana rhymes with banana W, Nancy D.
Just met Nancy too. Or Nancy D. Brian G, Sarah W, Amanda R, Teddy 127, Michael P, Theo M, Ryan R, Jordan M, Hillary B, Randy B, Craig G, Christy R, Karen P, Derek G, Jor L, Heather, and Greg, Nico P, I made Talkville say butts, Brian H, Eric K, Kristen B, Craig C, Ashley Ryan, Nanine W, Stephanie K, Darth Achilles, Vicky, Tamara H, Stephen F, Dan Ozat, Jeanette E, Deadvid, General Zod, Big D, Doug R, Carlos C, Danny, Tommy Z Boston 68, Ken G, Corey L, Mr. Home Arcade, Amanda K, Jesse C, Claire M, D Brown, Karen Era M, Eldon Supremo, Leslie V, Mick Bartz, Ginger Moose, Christopher S.
Wow, you really nailed it. You didn't mess one name up.
Whew, that's
what
how
happened?
you debate.
I don't even know who you are. Michelle M, Drew, Brittany S, Marisol P, Veronica Q, Michael Kane, doesn't blink, Sebastian F, Sourpuss Cranky Pants, Matthew and Lincoln B, Carol B, the Coopers, Marion Louise L, CGO, Cindy C, Nikki L, Bish, Bash, Bosch's Lemon Pledge, Shannon Fofanin, she had a question today, M, Brian S, Tina E, Matt R, Anthony R, Jen T, Jess D, Cassie B, Felicia R, Danny M, DS the RN, JS, Rachel D, when you're rich, you aren't crazy, you're eccentric, Paul W, Jonas 1, Samantha's, Derek Smallville Pod, Sage Krofcheck, and Spicy Brown says, we love you. Thank you so much for supporting the show. Love shouting out your names.